Joining me now to talk more about, well, all of this and what's happened over the past couple of days in Venezuela and with Maduro is Karen Alter, International Relations Professor at Northwestern University. Professor, thanks so much for joining us this morning. I want to start with, the International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor called Maduro's ouster by the U.S. an aggression crime, and he's not alone. Why is he saying this, and what happens now? Anything more than statements of condemnation?
Well, under international law, that force can only be used in self-defense. So here's an irony. All the U.S. actions in Venezuela, blowing up boats, blowing up a boat launching, and now snatching Maduro, look like acts of aggression. The more the U.S. bullies and continues to pressure, that is acts of aggression, and blockades an act of aggression under international law. What I expect is condemnation around the world and in the United Nations General Assembly. And so the U.S. is going to start getting its name dragged through the mud, and Americans are going to wake up to the fact that this was an illegal action that makes America look bad. It's gunboat diplomacy of the 19th century. And is this really what they elected President Trump to do?
Well, many are applauding the move, though, saying Maduro was a brutal dictator who contributed to narco-terrorism in the United States per his federal indictment. Does that justify the U.S.'s action at all?
Under international law, it doesn't, and it's actually a really terrible idea for a country to come up and indict a foreign head of state and then go in and snatch them. I mean, maybe this is what Vladimir Putin intended to do in Ukraine. We can hope that President Xi Jinping does not decide to go and grab the elected president of Taiwan. Maduro is a thug, and he stole the last election. But there's a reason why the world stopped gunboat diplomacy. The chance for it to escalate into conflict, violence, and war is so high. And we didn't have to do this. There were alternatives.
Senator Tom Cotton, to your point, the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, said Saturday that this move and the president's rhetoric indicates the U.S. might do this in other countries where leaders are facing similar indictments. Your thoughts on that?
Well, President Trump has already expressed that he wants to annex Panama. He wants to annex Greenland. So I actually do think that Maduro is involved in narco trafficking, but that's not going to matter. President Trump can create any kind of pretext, and that's exactly the problem. There are actually a lot of countries that are involved in narco trafficking historically and in the present. And so the other thing President Trump has said is that maybe he'll use the military to directly engage narco traffickers in Mexico and perhaps in Colombia. So you can see how this could very quickly escalate into regime change wars of choice, which is exactly what President Trump railed against for decades.
Right. He ran on a campaign promise that they would not interject. The U.S. would not interject itself into situations like this one. But I just really quickly, because we have to wrap it up, statements of condemnation. You talked about that, the U.S. citizens will wake up at some point and down the line to potential criticism about our government's actions being illegal. But words are just words. I mean, other than that, it sounds like it will come down to what voters want our government to look like in the next election.
Opinion polls are likely to show that this over time is going to be increasingly unpopular because it's going to drag on and it's not going to appear like the success that it appears at this very second with the perp walk. But whether they then want to commit the resources and want the president to be focused on Venezuela instead of focused on helping American citizens, it's very unlikely that it's going to continue to look as successful as it looks right now. So I do expect opposition against this to grow, and it's just such a terrible idea. This is why no one has done it in the past. We did it once with General Noriega and got away with it, but it's a different world and a different context, and I think it's a brazen act that if you don't stop and confront, we know that President Trump wants to escalate in many countries around the world. We already see Greenland saying we're not
back off
up for being annexed.
Right, yeah. We could talk about this for many, many more minutes, but in the meantime, Professor Karen Alter, Northwestern University, thank you so much for sharing your insight with me this morning. I appreciate that.
Thank you.